So converting decimals into fractions can take some time, and it may still make it tough to compare which is bigger or smaller. Now, decimal numbers tend to be simpler to compare, but they might not be quite as accurate. Okay, depending on how we round them, they might not be quite as accurate. That's why when we're doing stuff like comparing, we want to try to make things make sure that we're not rounding it. We're trying to keep as many decimal places as possible, and not just simplifying it off to make it a little bit easier. Now, a fraction can also be used as a division statement. Okay, so fraction's the same as a division statement. So to convert a fraction into a decimal, we're going to divide the numerator by the denominator. Okay, and that's how we create a decimal. Now, if our numerator is bigger than our denominator, such as an improper fraction, we're going to have a number bigger than 1. If it's a regular fraction or a proper fraction, it'll be a number less than 1. Okay, so it would be between 0 and 1. So how do we convert 1/4 into an equivalent decimal? Well, it's going to be 1 divided by 4. Okay. Now, 1 divided by 4 isn't the most difficult of the divisions. Some of you may recognize it already, some of you may not. In this case, and this case is one of the only ones for at least cycle 1 here, I want you to use a calculator to do our division statements. It actually makes it a whole lot simpler, okay? And I won't require you to do any of this stuff without a calculator, as long as, at least for like changing fractions and decimals. So on your calculator, 1 divided by 4, we get the decimal 0.25. Make sure it's right, 0.25. And so 0.25 is the same as 1/4. Okay. Well, let's try a couple more here. Again, this isn't going to be the most difficult with a calculator. Without a calculator, it could be pretty tough. With a calculator, it shouldn't be overly tough. Number 1 here is 1/2, 1 divided by 2. Okay, again, this one might have been something that you would recognize from before, but 1/2 is the same as 0.5. Okay. 2/5 is just 2 divided by 5, and it is the same as 0.4. Okay, so which one's bigger, 1/2 or 2/5? 1/2 is definitely bigger. Okay. All right, 47/100. Well, this one here you might recognize as being 0.47. It's 47 hundredths. It's already kind of in that. You can still use a calculator if you want for that. 47 divided by 100 gives us 0.47. So in fact, we get the same value if we just recognize that that is already in a power of 10. And so then we can do that maybe a little bit quicker. 2/3. Okay, now 2/3 is a little bit of a different one here. 2 divided by 3 gives us a repeating number. Okay, this is 0.666 repeated on forever and ever. Your calculator only shows so and so many 6s that it's going to cap it out. Some of yours will round it up to a 7 at the end because that next one's a 6. But if we're going to show this one here, we need to show it that it is in fact repeating. Okay, or 0.66666. We need to make sure we keep a lot of decimal places. Well, not necessarily a lot, but at least a few to show that it is in fact repeating. So it is bigger than, it's bigger than just 0.66. It's actually bigger than that. Now, improper fractions. Okay, 8 divided by 5. This is again going to give us a number greater than 1. So it's 1.6 would be our answer to that one there. And I'm just going to square that one there as well because that is our final answer. And finally, okay, 19/6. 19 divided by 6 gives us kind of an odd number here. This one is in fact also 3.16, and we're repeating just the 6. Okay, it's going to continue on. My calculator in this case has rounded it up to 7. Okay, your calculators might do the same thing, but that is 6 repeated. So it's 3.16 repeated, and it keeps on going on and on. So for question 2, I want you to change all fractions into decimals. You can use a calculator. Remember, it's the numerator divided by the denominator to come up with our fraction, or with our decimal.